Thank you very much. So, I'm Suzanne Smith, and I believe everybody can be a change maker. And I believe this from a very early age. So this is me at 2. What you see is a 2-year-old and a dog and a cat in a fight. By the way, no animals were harmed during the taking of this picture. I just want to warn you. And look at my outrage, my just outrage at this incident. But what I see is I see that moment that I became who I am, which is a change agent. And that's who I am. And since that time period, I have fought for the underdog, or in this case, maybe the undercat, I think. I have been a lobbyist, I've been a nonprofit professional, I have worked as a teacher, and now I'm a practicing social entrepreneur. And for me, change is my life. It's the thing that I do. So now tell me a little bit about you. What are the issues that you want to create change on? So we've got a wonderful audience here in Dallas, Texas. The sun is out. What are some things you want to change? What are some things you want to change? Yeah. Yeah, female entrepreneurship. That is actually one of my passions as well. What about others? Yep. Absolutely, asking for help. Some other issues I hear from folks: poverty, homelessness, women's rights, racism. Those are issues that matter to all of us. They're the why, the reason why we want to make a difference, the why in our lives. When people start talking passionately about the issues, what ends up happening is there's energy in the room. And you can feel that palpable energy when we start talking about issues that matter to us. So let me ask you the other question. How do you think we're doing on these issues? So that's the typical response I get. Not so good, horrible, and that decreases our energy. So what happens is in the how, we sometimes lose our energy. And we have a dirty secret in the nonprofit space. We actually don't have a great how. And let me show you a little bit about that. So our how in going about and creating this large-scale social change, fighting homelessness, fighting poverty, fighting income inequality, is done by 10% of our workforce. These are our medical professionals, our social workers, the people who every single day fight the good fight. And then we spend 2% of our GDP on charitable causes. So that's our how. And it's one of the reasons why I believe that the task that we have to fight these issues is almost an impossible battle. We are given a hammer and maybe some secondhand nails when what we need for social change is power tools. And so what I'm here today to talk to you about is how you can be one of those power tools and how you can be part of the solution. But first, let me tell you a little bit about a mantra that I actually espouse every single day, and I think about it. And this is the famous Buckminster Fuller with his famous buckyball, and he says, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." So imagine if I can recruit all of you and we move from 10% to 100% of people making a change. What if we move from 2% of the GDP going to charitable causes to 5%, or dare I say 15%? And it's actually possible. This is something that is within our power to actually do. So I told you about my day job, and my day job is really fighting for that underdog. But I actually have a night job too. And in that night job, people come to me. Like I said, I'm lucky enough, at 2 years old, I found what I was outraged by. And since then, I've been living my meaning every single day. But there are people, lots of people, wonderful people out there who have not found their meaning yet. So I have a night job called a meaning counselor. So I'm actually counseling people on what their why is and how they go about accomplishing what they want to accomplish in their lives. So today, I'm going to walk you through that special formula that I've come up with countless individuals, countless friends, on how they can find meaning. But first, let's think about what actually is meaning. To me, the two most important days in your life are the days you're born and the day you find out why you were actually born. So we're going to talk through how you can actually find that why as well as that how as we go over the course of today. So first, what lights the fire for each of you? That fire that just burns inside you for no reason. The thing, like I was when I was 2 years old, that brings you that look of outrage. Something that you feel like you must actually change was your purpose in life. And it could be something you do for your day job, like 10% of the workforce. But again, we need night soldiers, people out there working day after day on causes they care about as volunteers. And so you've got to find that one thing that lights you up. Remember that energy that was created when you started talking about the issues that you care about? That's what I want you to find in yourself. Reach deep inside and find the thing that really matters to you. And that's the first step. So now that we found the fire, we're going to move to the formula. And the formula, as any MBA would tell you, are the 5 T's. The first T is probably one that you've seen, time. I oftentimes judge people by how they spend their time. You know really and truly what's important to them by how they spend their time. And we don't have a lot of time anymore. But I can honestly tell you every single person has time if they know it's truly going to make a difference in the lives of others. When I was 18 years old, I made a difference in the life of somebody else, but she made a difference in the life of me. I actually was a big sister for Big Brothers Big Sisters. She's not little anymore, but we still are together. And Ashley is probably the greatest accomplishment I've ever had. So if you mentor somebody, if you tutor somebody, their life will be forever changed by that time that you've given, which has been so small for you, but so large for them. Time can be something that actually really makes a huge difference and has a huge return on investment for the individual that you're investing in. The next one is talent. People oftentimes think about the thing that they want to spend time on, but the truth is we need talent in the social space. And actually, I believe that when you couple your talent with the thing you're most passionate about, you are unstoppable. Because you're the best in the world at that particular thing, and you're doing the thing that lights you on fire, and you will be absolutely unstoppable. And you can be good at really anything. I have a friend of mine who's great at birthday parties. And so she's CEO of a company called Birthday Party Project. Laura's here right now. She's giving her talent to something she's really good at, and she's living a life that is making a difference in hundreds and thousands of young people. You can also give your time and talent to nonprofits through board of directors. One of the number one things I get asked when I go in and work with nonprofits is, can you help me find a board member? In particular, they need board members in IT and HR. Those are very hard to find. So your talent, the things you know, and the thing that you're best at, when applied to the social sector, can unleash unlimited potential. So think about what you're really talented at, and I can guarantee you I can find a way to actually apply it to the social sector. So the next one, which I'm sure you expected, is treasure. And I'm not the person who will be saying, give your money, because sometimes people don't have money to give. But donations are incredibly important, even in the smallest of increment. But now, we actually have more ways to give back. Remember the 2% before? That is the charitable donations that we give in this country. But it's actually a very large amount in comparison to developing worlds. So if we could move that 2% to even 3% or 4%, think about the seismic shift that would happen in the social space. However, there's other ways for you to give your treasure. You don't just have to donate. The other thing you can do is buy. Buy from companies that actually have a social purpose. They're called social enterprises. You probably just did it. How many of you here bought Girl Scout cookies recently? Lots of people, and you probably gained 5 pounds like I did. But Girl Scouts, that's a social enterprise. It's the fuel that not only teaches those young women, we just had 2 that talked about the importance of this, women, these young ladies, entrepreneurship, but it also funds the organization. And there are countless other social enterprises all across this wonderful country. And there are examples in New York like Grayston Bakery. In Ohio and Kentucky, Growing Sound with Children Inc. There's also a Women's Bean Project in Colorado that actually are social enterprises and are employing the best practices of those nonprofits for the benefit of us all. So I'd encourage you, next time you're buying a gift for somebody, think about a social enterprise. The other thing I would do is vote with your dollar. So you're going to companies and you're giving them your hard-earned dollar. So make sure it's going the farthest that it possibly can. Recently, the giant CVS Health made what I called a giant decision in deciding that they were going to take tobacco products out of their own stores, at risk to their own bottom line and their own shareholders. And what I did the next day is move every single one of my prescriptions to CVS Health. And so when you see companies taking a stand, when you see them actually doing something for the good of us all, actually buy from those companies. And so buying can be an incredibly great strategy. The next thing you can do with your treasure is investing. There are so many great investments out there. You can actually have mutual funds that are socially responsible. If there's an issue you specifically care about, you can find a mutual fund that is specific to those things, and you can put your investment portfolio in there. You may be thinking, well, that may come at great risk. Well, interestingly enough, Morgan Stanley recently did a study that said the mutual funds that are socially responsible outperformed mutual funds that were their counterparts. So you can actually make more money by doing good. In addition, there are companies out there, like my own, that are benefit corporations who have incorporated as triple bottom line companies. You can not only buy from them, but you can also invest in them. In fact, a recent study by Duke University said that these companies actually outperform their for-profit counterparts. So I would highly encourage you to use your treasure in not the most obvious way of donations, but definitely try. But think about buying as well as investing. The last T is tenacity. Tenacity is incredibly important for us in the social space. In the social space, we often have what I call issue ADD. We move from one issue to another issue and then another issue. And we have big issues to deal with. We're not going to solve poverty or homelessness or racism or choose your own issue that is entrenched in our society if we don't pay attention to it. I can't tell you how many people say to me, well, what's the quick win? And I say to them, there is no quick win when you're dealing with somebody's life. It is something we have to work hard on every single day and make sure we're making an impact. And we've got to stick with those issues in order to make sure that we actually try to start solving them. So we've got to have that tenacity. The good news is there are issues we've actually solved that can give us a blueprint. Issues like drunk driving, smoking, as I mentioned before, as well as recycling. We know how to move the needle, and moving the needle requires tenacity. We've got to have that tenacity with the issues that we're dealing with in our country. And the last T is together. I believe in an all-in mentality. If all of us believe that we can make a change in our community, we indeed will make a change. And it can be in your neighborhood. Start by starting a crime watch or being a part of a crime watch, or maybe helping an elderly neighbor go get their groceries every week. That is meaningful. It can start by voting early and often, which I'm a big advocate of. It can be encouraging your company to adopt a local school and making sure they have the school supplies they need so teachers don't have to pay for them themselves. Those small things make a huge difference. Very recently, I co-hosted a baby shower for a friend of mine, and I asked the attendees to not only bring a present for Lisa, the person we had the shower for, but we also put together a care package for a needy mom in the community. She just had a new baby named Elijah, and you can't imagine the look of just gratefulness she had on her face when we gave her that care package. Small things matter. So you may think to yourself, I'm just a drop in the bucket, but that drop turns into an ocean. So when we do things together, we can create the large-scale social change we all are looking for. So, welcome to the world of change-making. I hope you've accepted the challenge that I put in front of you. Now that you have the fire and you have the formula, you know the why and you know the how. I hope you will walk away and join our community of change-makers. Yeah, we are the crazy ones, but the crazy ones are the ones who actually change the world. So welcome, and I hope you'll realize that by being a change maker, the first thing you'll change is actually yourself. Thank you very much.